Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to Glorious Crafts. My name's Gloria. So, I've been thinking of things that I can make to keep my channel interesting, and I had made this lovely little fairy and her sister. I think they're scrumptious. This one's going to be Isabella, and this one over here is going to be Gabriella. So I need to make them a place to live. So, of course, I'm going to need to do some miniatures. So, with that being said, it's going to be a whole process of me making miniature items, and every once in a while I'll throw in a wreath or some other stuff, and if you ask me to do a tutorial on anything, I will jump right on that and put that in there too. So, Isabella has the brown hair and Gabriella has the blonde hair. So these lovely fairies need a place to live. So you're going to need grass and stuff for your trees. And I had made this tree. I've showed it to you before. So I'm going to show you how to make this green product. And you can use this on your vines on the side of your house that you're making for your miniature people. Or your dollhouse. You can use it as grass or for a bush or like I did here for a tree. So the products you're going to need are pretty much everything but the kitchen sink. I have old sponges that I cut up. You're going to need some twine. You're going to need cotton balls, and I have raffia. And if you have any lace, that's perfect too. I have these sponges also. Now, you can use a food processor to la machine this all up and make it smaller. I do not have a food processor. So I started making some of these products yesterday. And the reason they're in a box is some of the stuff shoots to the side while I'm making it, which is a nightmare because I don't want to lose any of it because it's a lot, okay? And it takes a lot. I mean, it took this whole plate full to make that tree. So for your cotton balls, just pull them apart as best you can. There you go. For the green and yellow sponges, cut them up, pull them apart, cut them as small as you'd like. For your raffia, your lei, whatever you want to call it, you just do it very, very tiny. See how I told you it goes all over? So you want tiny, tiny pieces. Then the twine is the best, just so you know, but it's bananas that you don't get that much from twine. I'm going to show you what I mean. So here's my twine, okay? Now I'm going to clear a little spot so I can show you how this gives hardly anything, and you would be cutting twine from till the cows come home. So basically when you cut it, it comes apart. See what I'm showing you? See how it comes apart? And it gives you hardly anything. But that's good to have in your grass stuff. So you're going to want to wear gloves when you're mixing paint with your items. And as you do it, if you see anything that's too big or too much, like your cotton balls, cut them up smaller. Now, like I said, food processor, you could put it in there, but I don't know how I'd feel if I was using a food processor for crafts and then going to use it for my family. Because I do have one, I just don't have one to be using for my crafts, and I just don't think that's a good idea. Now, if you have more than one food processor, that is wonderful. I am thinking about getting a hand mixer to do some of my crafts, but we shall see, because I do like to do a lot of paper mache, and it would be less stress on my hands. So, like I said, it shoots all over, And this is what the twine looks like. It's hardly anything for that thing of twine. Now, I have gloves and I have paint. Where is my paint? Oh my Lanta. So I gotta find my paint because I just had it not that long ago. Okay, here it is. So, I have different colors of paint. Any color green will do. I also have food coloring, but it's a neon food coloring, and this lighter green. But I'm telling you, if you don't want to be green for the rest of your life, I would wear gloves, because I did this the other day, and like I said, I was green. So, now, there's a lot of this here. I will cut that as I go. Most likely after I make everything green, I will cut that up. So basically, you're just dumping green on there. Okay? Any colors of green you have, put it in there. And I also add some water, because I want this to go far. So I have a little bit of water here. Okay. So you're just going to mix this up. Mix up everything with your colors. And you want to get every bit of your product on and make it green. So you want everything green. So if I'm going to do a vine going up the side of a house, I'm going to take from these items. Now this is going to have to dry before I even use it. So I have no problem with that, because I can cut it either now while it's wet or before I use it. But you just want to make sure that every bit of your sponges and everything turn green. So you should use a decent amount of water, and the sponges will soak up some of your water. I suggest going to the dollar store and getting their green if you're going to be, you know, doing a lot of crafts where you need, you know, green, because it's pretty cheap there. But it's your choice. So all I'm doing is trying to make sure that every bit of my grass or treetop or vines becomes green. So I'm going to go away and do that, and then I'll come back. But see how I have so much here that I can squeeze it, and that moves it around too, which is pretty awesome. So squeeze it out, put a lot of water in, and it's your choice. And I believe the reason it's this bright is because I used food coloring. I'm going to add some darker green in there also. So I'm going to continue to manipulate this till it's all green and the color that I like. And then I'm going to come back and show you what it looks like. But this is what I'm going to use as grass and other items. And if it's too long when I'm going to use it, I'll just cut it up. Or when it dries. When it dries, I have no problem cutting it up also. So I'm going to keep manipulating all of this greenery, and I'll come back and show you the finished product. Get my glove off so I can turn off my camera. I definitely don't want my camera green. Here's two different colors for your tree, your grass, your vines, whatever. So now we are going to get busy making a tree, which I find really fun. This is going to have to take quite a few hours to dry. I would give it 24. What I do is I leave it on the plates, and then every couple hours I rotate it, you know, mix it up so that different areas get dry. So while that's drying, let's work on making a tree. You're going to need wire. Any wire will do. Doesn't matter how thick. I bought this extremely thin wire. Really bummed out that it was so thin. But I figured a way to use it because I like to use everything. Especially when I waste money on it. So, I'm going to lower my camera. And you're just going to, you want to see how tall you want your tree. Get my scissors. So, let's just say you want your tree this tall. Couple inches, 3 inches. Just wrap back and forth, folding over your wire. Then you could take equipment for your wires, or you could just spin it yourself. It depends on how long you want your tree. I think I'm going to make mine a little smaller because my other tree is not that big. So you just want to twist it like I'm doing here. And you're going to want to cut these ones that are circled where you fold it in half as best you can. I'm going to build this up some more, but I'm also going to need branches on here. And if your hand gets too tired, that is not a problem. Just use your jewelry twister. I don't know what this is called. I call it a jewelry twister because that's what I call it. So now I have my wire. Okay. Now I'm going to need some branches. Branches don't have to be huge. So take off some wire. Cut it. Now you want to make it shorter than your stem. So, excuse me. I'm thinking about 1.5 inches. So I'm just going to continue to fold over the wire back and forth, leaving the loops back and forth, back and forth. Just like that. Okay? Now the one end you want to pinch together as best you can. The other end where all the loops are, you need to cut them. These are going to be your branches. So the one end that you mush together, that's going to be your base of your branches. Don't hurt yourself. Like I said, use pliers, use whatever you can to twist. So I'm only twisting so far because I want these to branch out like branches. So you're going to manipulate them to open them up, just like this. No rhyme or reason. Just want to open them up, just like that. Now, you're going to take your branches and you're going to hook it to, or twist, your branches onto each other, the wire. I'm going to want more branches, and I'm also going to want some definition to my branches where there's more than just one. So I am going to untangle these as best I can. So here they are. And here's my stem. So I'm going to add a couple more branches, and you definitely want them shorter than your trunk. So cut off a piece, and I'm going to go shorter than the last ones because I'd like my tree to be full when I'm done. And sorry that my fingernails don't look that great. It's because of the paint I've been using. And even though I had gloves on, I had to take them off. So the one end with the circles, they both will have circles. Cut them. The other end you want to twist so that they don't come apart. And then you want to stick it on your tree. Easy peasy. Twist it around. And then open them up. So now you have branches on branches. Now what you want to do, if you feel you have enough of your branches, you want to get tape. Any kind of tape will do. I have a lot of painter's tape. So I'm going to get my painter's tape and show you what you need to do next. Now what you do is you take your painter's tape, or whatever tape you have an abundance of or want to use, and you're going to wrap it around the wires, which will also help you not to stick yourself with the wires if by any chance any of them are sticking out. So you just want to wrap your entire tree with tape. It also helps it become larger, you know, gives it some width. But I like to wrap it because it also helps me not to get my fingers stuck by wires. Doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to be wrapping it again with other items. So now you want to do each individual branch. So I'm going to show you one, and then I'll go off camera and do the rest. So you take your tape, doesn't have to be big, and what I do is, instead of wrapping it all the way around, I just take the tape, put the wire in between the middle, whoops, if I didn't, there we go, and fold it over. That's it. That's all I do. Fold it over so that the wire's covered. Show you the other part. So just take it, put it on, fold it over, just like that. Okay, so I'm going to do the rest and come back. When you have all your branches and your stem covered, you're going to need roots. So just take some wire, cut it, fold it in half, fold it in half again, fold it in half again, because your roots don't have to be huge because your tree's not huge. Then cut all the circulars. I am not cutting where it's bent. Then take your wires and put them through some or most of the circles down here. Then twist. These will give you roots. And now you want to cover your roots with your paper, your tape. So I have some roots, which is pretty awesome. and I'm going to cover them with paper. At this point, your tree pretty much looks the same on the top and the bottom because of the tape. But just an easy way to tell is your roots are going to be smaller than the top. Now you're going to take tin foil. And you want to build up your trunk. With the tin foil, you can use paper towels to put in here. You just want to build up your trunk and your leaves and everything. It doesn't have to be tight. You can use toilet paper, tissues. I just try to do it not real tight so that it gives it some dimension, but you want it to still stick together. Okay, so you want your trunk to have some, you know, be thick. So I'm going to do it again with the tin foil, and after I'm done doing the trunk, I am going to wrap tin foil around my branches and my roots. So I gave it more of a thicker trunk, which is what I wanted. So now I'm going to wrap tin foil around all of my branches and my roots. And here's the thing, I might add more down here of branches. I don't know. It all depends on how you feel and what makes you happy. I don't know if this is going to be enough branches. I might need more. I might not. It's hard to say. Depends on where the spirit takes me. So I'm going to wrap everything with tin foil and come back. Here's my little tin foil tray. And when I did the branches and the roots, I squunched it even more. So I basically made them thicker, and this is not so thick. So I have Sargent Art Plazolina clay. It is non-hardening. When I purchased this, I didn't know that. I did a review on this clay. It's on my YouTube channel. So right now you're just going to want to get your clay, manipulate it as best you can, and get it all warmed up in your hands, and you want to start building up your tree. And what I mean by that, this isn't where it gets fun. The fun part is when you get to put details in your tree and everything. Now, this, actually, I can add paint to. And you know what? I think I'm going to add paint to my clay. So bear with me 1 second. I have my plate, and I have truffle brown paint, and I might as well add it to my clay so that I don't have to do that later. So there we go. Fortunately, I got a lot on my hands. So basically, I now have a whole bunch of paint on my hands, which I was not prepared for, because I did wash off my brown earlier today, but apparently it did not pan out well for me. So you just want to mix your clay with as much paint as you want. I'm going to do a decent amount because I'm going to do a whole entire tree. So I'm going to continue to add brown paint to my clay and then mix it all around so that I have even coverage of the brown. And then I'll be back. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I believe that is such a waste of product. I ended up with more on my hands than I did on the clay. Not doing that again. I suggest you don't do that. It's your choice. But I'll never be doing that again. Because it didn't really cover anything. And I can paint it once done. So, you just want to manipulate your clay so that it's easy to work with. That's all. And this clay is good once you start working with it, but at first it's very, very hard. And as you can see, I had brown all over. You should have seen the brown hot mess I was. So, just keep working with your clay. And here's your little tree. And I have my little rolling pin. So I'm going to roll this out some. Because I really, excuse me, don't need it really, really thick. Because I'm just going to start wrapping it around my tree. So, all you're going to do is put it around your tree. You can have it as thin or as thick as you like. This will also help your tree to stand up. So, basically, that is all I'm doing, is wrapping it around my trunk, and I'm going to wrap it around all the little roots and the top, and I'll come back and show you what that looks like before I start to work with, you know, manipulating everything and designing my tree. So for right now, I'm just wrapping my tree, and you know, that's pretty basic. If you have any questions, leave a question in the comment section. I hope you're enjoying my content. I would really appreciate it if you comment, like, ask your friends to follow. It really helps me and my channel. I would very much appreciate that. So basically, I'm just rolling this out, and then I'm going to stick it on my branch. So I'm going to continue to do that, and then I'll be back. Okay, so since you made it this far, this is where it starts to be fun. So I have everything wrapped in clay, okay? And you want to make sure that your branches are going to stay up. So you want to reinforce this area right here. You can always bend it down as you go. So, oh my goodness, sorry about that. I'm going to start with the roots. So, you just take some clay and you start building up your roots the way you'd like them to be. And now is kind of where you're going to start shaping them. So, you're going to add definition. You can use anything in your house. I use this pumpkin carver. Got it at the Dollar Tree. I believe I got this at the Dollar Tree. It's to clean dentures. This gives some texture. A clay tool. A little tool from resin. This is a straw cleaner that I got from somewhere. And a little spatula. So these items and other items around my house help me to put grooves and things into my items. So right now, I'm going to go off camera and start working on making my tree the way I'd like it to look. And then I'll come back and show it to you. And, you know, then we'll paint it after we get done. So right now I'm just building up different areas of my stem. That's all. Okay, so I will be back. I added extra to the tree and made the roots look a certain way that I wanted them to, and added little branches and stuff. And now I'm just going to take different items and start making marks around my tree, because I want to get it painted soon. But you just put anything you want to make marks on your tree. That's all. So right now I'm just going to go around with the items I have and rough up my tree a little bit, rough up the roots, and get it done so that I have more definition to my tree. So that's what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to come back and paint it and show you what it looks like. So I'm going to do that. So now that you've made a bunch of little nicks and lines and everything, you're going to want to paint it. And I have a makeup brush, and I am just going down, and you can see the lines I have in here, and I'm just putting the paint on gently as to not mess up the lines. If you have drying clay, you'd want to wait till it dries before you paint it. This is non-drying clay, so I would never be able to paint it if I didn't do it now. Or if I waited, there's no reason to wait. So I am just going around and painting, and if I want to add more definition, if I see something and I want it to look better, I can add more. Like if I see this little hole here, I like that hole, so I'm going to make it a little bigger. Put one right here. So it has different items and looks different from the other pieces of my roots. Entirely up to you how you want your tree to look. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to continue painting my tree with truffle paint, which is my brown paint, and I'm probably going to add some other colors. But this is going to be my miniature tree for, you can use it for a dollhouse, you can use it for, I'm using it for my fairies. So I am just adding different items as I go. You don't have to fill in every spot with paint. So that's all I'm doing, is adding more and more paint to my item, and I'm going to get up here to all of this. So I'm going to go do that and come back and show you what it looks like. I want to show you the detail in my tree so you can see that I have the roots look in different ways. Parts of the tree are a little roughed up. Up top here is a little bit much with how it looks. So now I have what I made for the top of the tree, This is still a little wet. I'm okay with that. My hands are going to become green, but that's okay. I have Super 77 spray adhesive from Scotch. So this is going to have to be done kind of in layers. So you spray it, right? And then you take your greenery and you put it on. You can do as much or as little as you'd like. It's entirely up to you. But the reason I say do it in layers is because you're going to add more and more of the green. So if you do a whole big chunk, it's not going to stay on at all. So I'm going to turn it this way, and I'm going to spray some more of the spray adhesive. Okay, now it's working a little better. And I'm going to put on some of the green, just like that. So basically, that is all you're doing, is building up your tree. More spray adhesive. And I like to, when I'm done, I like to add more spray adhesive so that I think that it's going to stay on. Some of it falls off, but then again, this is also wet. I'm doing this with wet product. So you can make your tree as full as you'd like. It's entirely up to you. You know, whatever makes your tree the way you would like it to be. More of the spray and more of the green. And I like having different colors of green on my tree because all the leaves aren't the same color. And you don't have to cover every branch, because I'm going to leave some of these branches sticking out so you can see them, because, you know, I worked kind of hard on that. So I'm going to keep doing this and come back and show you what it looks like. So here's how built up I want in my tree. And I want some branches sticking out because I worked hard on them. So I'm going to take my spray adhesive and coat my entire tree. You can add more or less. It's entirely up to you, but that will help it stay adhered to my tree. And add a little more, because what's a little more? Especially since I'm doing this for fairies. Fairies have, you know, they're the ones that make everything green and you know, foliage and beautiful. So there's my tree. I like what it looks like. I'm going to add some more adhesive. I'm going to clean this up and come back and show you what it looks like. But there's our tree, and it's done. So more spray adhesive. Okay. Here's the tree that I just made today. And here is the tree I made the other day. So as you can tell, they're different, which is kind of awesome. Same person made them, just different. Thanks so much for watching. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye.